Hey man, what's going on in GooseSports? Says we got another video as LSU and Texas A&M will face off Saturday night in College Station. As this is going to be probably be the premier game of the weekend, especially in the SEC. If so, not the if so not the whole nation in college football. I can't think of another game that of this magnitude that's going to be taking place this weekend as the undefeated LSU Tigers in the SEC take on the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies. Also, they're undefeated in the SEC. They both have one loss. They were out of conference. LSU lost to Southern California. Texas A&M lost to Notre Dame. Both those were in like the first week of the year. So LSU comes off a victory over Arkansas on the road. Texas A&M comes off a victory as they beat Mississippi State on the road. So it's going to be a home game for the Aggies, a place where LSU has not won since 2016, which was the year that Ed Orgeron was the interim coach when Les Miles got fired. LSU lost in 2018, lost in 2020, and then lost in 2022, which was a very that was a very disturbing loss back in 2022 when LSU was ranked number 5 in the country. A&M was 4-7, and they just kicked our ass that night. But hopefully, there's not a repeat performance like that night. Oh man, why am I so yawning so much? Anyway, sorry about that. So the Tigers, Garrett Nussmeier had a good game last week. And of course, didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any interceptions as well. So he went on the road and got a win against Arkansas. As Cade Durham was the leading bell cow, over 100 yards rushing. But I think this is going to be a really good football game. As Texas A&M plays good at home, and LSU, of course, being on the road again in the SEC. I think they said the last time an SEC team won back-to-back road games was LSU back in 2019. So that's how tough it is to win back-to-back road games in the SEC. That's just a stat I read. Don't know if there's any truth to that, but that's just what I read. So articles can get shit wrong, but that's just what I read. And I think this game is going to come down to the fourth quarter. I think it's going to come down to which team makes the least mistakes. And I think last year LSU had they dodged a bullet not facing Wegman. I know Wegman's his stats aren't that good this year, but I think Wegmans has a good quarterback, but his stats don't prove it this year. But I think Wegman's he's a decent quarterback, but like I said, his stats don't prove it this year. I think we're gonna have to stop their running game. Moss I think he has close to over 700 yards rushing on the year. That's gonna be a big part of the this football game. Is can LSU stop the run? We did against Arkansas, but there's been times this year where LSU has not stopped the run, and it's kind of causes some problems. Causing some problems early in the South Carolina game, in the Nichols game, where we just could not stop the run to save our life. So LSU's gonna have to LSU. I think LSU's gonna have to come to this mindset just like they did last week, and I think they're gonna have to be balanced on offense. I think they're going to need to be more 50-50 in a running passing game like they were against Arkansas. They're going to have to control the clock. And Whit Weeks, man, can Whit Weeks can he make the plays again like he did against Arkansas? Man, Whit Weeks was awesome against Arkansas. Had the interception, had a sack, had a sack. He had almost 10 tackles. And against Ole Miss, he had like almost, I think, like 18, 17 tackles against Ole Miss, something like that. Man, just Whit Weeks has come out on fire the last few weeks ever since the injury to Harold Perkins. So he by far, Whit Weeks by far right now is our best player on defense. I don't think that's even up for debate. And another key part of this game is going to be our secondary. Zy Alexander has really shut down one side of the field. You don't even hear his name called. And if you're a cornerback and you don't hear your name called at all during the game, that's usually a good thing, especially if you're actually playing on the field for a lot of snaps. That means nobody's throwing to you and you're doing your job. You're not committing penalties. But I've also been impressed with Stamps. I think the secondary has gotten better since the season started. season started. The secondary was kind of iffy, just like last year. But they I think they're starting to buy in with Blake Baker, his teaching, and of course also Corey Raymond and the defensive coaches. And I think it's going to be I think this game is going to be I think this game is going to be a lot closer than LSU and Arkansas. I don't see that happening. And Texas A&M, of course, they had a close game with Mississippi State. They only won by 10 points, but that game was on the road also. I know Mississippi State's not really a good football team right now, but anytime you go on the road and win in the SEC, it's a good win. So who's going to win? Is it going to be Texas A&M? Is it going to be LSU? You know, my heart, my fanhood says LSU. I gotta go Tigers, but sometimes it's hard to win. It's hard to win back-to-back games in the SEC on the road. It can be done, but it's very, very hard. And I think LSU is going to have to play. I think they're going to have to play mistake-free football. They can't turn the ball over. I think if they turn the ball over a few times, it's going to doom them if they do that. I think they're going to have to also get some turnovers like they did against Arkansas last week. And if they do that, they have a good chance of coming out with a victory. But we'll see what happens on Saturday night in College Station. So who y'all got? You got LSU, Texas A&M. Man, I think I said it's too close to call, man. Too close to call. And I'll see you guys next video. Go Tigers.